had a belief that I will awaken to the Pluto ingress, and boy, I was not wrong. Actually, I woke up, I had a very interesting dream. Um, and I woke up with we, the people, of course, and I wondered if Pluto has ingressed, and lo and behold, it just did. um, I'm gonna tell you the dream because Pluto has ingressed to my 12th house again up until September, as all of us. Okay, it's not the for good. The for good is November 19th. And of course, it conjuncts the sun. Um, Stories like this, I'm not sure if I'm with my parent or not, with somebody in a grocery store. There's a man, suddenly there's a very loud knock on the door. Somebody's trying to open the door. And he closes the door and we stand by the side and says, somebody's trying to break in. So, but before that we hear sounds from outside, car stops. And we are sure that this is another invasion. Okay, I live in Israel. So like, okay, they're trying to slaughter us. And he just walks, and I think about, well, we're in a grocery store. Okay. It's not just food. It's not a lot of weapons. I wasn't even thinking about the fact that we are desired for our food. Okay, for the food that's in the store. But the guy walks in, and I think about maybe to, one of the juicy fruits that you can just point at them. And he takes an orange. The owner of the store, a young man, um, probably not, he could be even younger than me, brown hair, and he takes an orange. And he says to us, if somebody tries to break, I don't know, I'll try to point at his eyes and squeeze an orange. The next shot is that somebody breaks in, and the minute the door opens, I walk outside. I don't know how it's possible. And there's a lady, Israeli Jewish Yeket, hard of understanding Jew couple, a woman and a man. And the man walks into the store. And I said to the lady, my God, we thought this is a terrorist. She said, no, this is Avi with the knife. But suddenly there was no sense of danger. It was just Avi with the knife. The most weapon we had against him was squeezing an orange to his eyes or something. To his eyes, okay? With an orange, what would an orange do? Okay. And I woke up, opened my eyes, and the word we, the people, was arising. Um, that's it. That's my dream. What began like a nightmare ended up with, no, it was just two Israeli couple. And the woman quietly saying, no, it's Avi with the knife. And he was not like, nobody was killing anybody. We're not sure what happened. Um, and so we, the people, this is my ingress, and Pluto is in my 12th. Okay, so this is like what I woke up with. And the moon is releasing from a trine to this conjunction with the sun in Aquarius. Um, I am whole stuffed with essential oils. So if you wonder, oh, is that it? I have prepared for this ingress, okay? Okay. So, of course, it's also releasing from the trine to Sedna. Venus is in 27 degrees Sag. ascendant was in Saturn when I began, 16 degrees. The midheaven ingress to Libra when I began this forecast or whatever. um, yes, I see Aries. If you wonder why grocery store, well, my grandfather had a grocery store. But I wasn't dreaming about my grandfather in particular. It wasn't there in the dream. It wasn't our grocery store, it was somebody's grocery store. And our weapon was an orange that we were thinking to squeeze into the person's eye. Um, so, yeah, I actually have some orange essential oil in my blend that I use. It is not Saturn day, it's Mercury night and Saturn hour. Those of you wondering what's been there. So, um, yes, this is where we're not about fearing our government so much as tending to we the people. Before this ingress, a couple of things happened to me when Pluto was still in Capricorn. One of them was a person that was sent to with the people that were evacuated, was sent to the Dead Sea. And he had a heart condition. We don't know what's the situation, but it was a bus. And he was talking about, said, my heart is hurting. I didn't understand if it's like sorrow or what's happening. But then we stopped, like, we tried to stop the bus and then it stopped at the end. And was another young man that was kind of helping me to make sure that this person seeks help. And the bus driver was a woman, which was lovely to see. And she said, we know him. So apparently this man has heart condition, he has diabetes. And the Dead Sea is a lovely place. I mean, they have 5-star hotels there. But when they go 500 meters below the sea, they go 500 meters above the sea, and they go to Beersheba city, it is problematic to people who have just been through a heart-risking condition because of the blood pressure. So every time he has these problems, and they will call him an ambulance to check him up. And then me and that young person were making sure, and I told him, beware of the beta plug. He said, no, I only take this thing for diabetes. I always quit their medication, so he knew. And the person next to me later said, I once was at the psychiatric ward. I don't know if it was hospitalized or not. And they gave me this beta blocker, this antipsychotic, and it made my heart, like it made problems with my heart. I was like, you see? Just moving on my way. So 12th house is hospitals, jails, but also hotels. And then I was thinking of how we, the people, need to be there for one another eventually. And the thing is, the person was like, please don't call an ambulance. Don't call an ambulance because it's going to cost me 1,000 shekels. I don't have that money. He was supposed to meet another person who was supposed to give him money. So he was very afraid. We're trying to convince him it's not going to cost him. Then we called the security, which of course was an Arab man. And he said, I'll pay the bill if that's going to be the problem. They knew him. They called the ambulance. And the thing is, later I forgot his coat. So we're holding his coat. So it's coming back again. And I saw they did call an ambulance and was getting checked. I don't know if it's going to hospital or not, but it was getting checked. And I was just like, why on earth would they put people that just been through through an event, which is this town being slaughtered? And by the way, a lot of Arab Israeli helped. So if you think about like an invasion, the Palestinians, people, Arab Israelis are Palestinians. So they'd be slaughtered because they had no money to escape Israel during 1948. Very likely, that's what it was. So that's not a fair way to deal with that when it comes to we the people. when I think about this. So yeah. If you say how come I say that, well, they're bombed. Every time our rockets are bombed. And one time I was teaching English to an Arab Israeli woman, and she's a nurse. Her husband serves in the army and has children. The children are trying to teach me Quran. And I asked her, listen, every time our city was bombed, I see before we are bombed, I see all of your villages are bombed. I'm like, how come? She says, you won't believe it. When me and my husband go to Gaza, they overcharge us. Because here we're like outsiders, there we're outsiders. And I'm like, this is crazy. Because eventually the people who stayed in Israel in 1948, and a lot of people came from Gaza afterwards, like through marriage and stuff like that, to have a decent life, um, pragmatically. And she, it was kind of like, my God. And eventually the people who stayed there, they just didn't have the money to leave. That's why they stayed. They're not traitors, they're not this, they're not that. If you want to get a job, if you want to get a decent job, if you want to get out of like village life, okay, there's nothing wrong about village life, but if you don't like the tradition, you want to get to the city, or they're still living in a village, then one way to get promoted and to get a job is to go to the army. So a lot of them do go, and they stand with Israel and with the Israelis as citizens, because they kind of like always need to show that they are not like a fifth legion or something. But the reason why they stayed at the first place, like they had nowhere to go, so they were abandoned. They were abandoned. People had money. They're not entitled to that. So this is something that I was thinking about yesterday. And all of the, when it comes to we the people, we the people need to remember to treat we the people well. And this is no longer it's no longer about our governments. It's how we the people provide for we the people. So yeah, because usually, let's say, let's go back to the dream. If a person would, let's say, break up to the grocery store, to the fruits and vegetable store, it wasn't even grocery, then the owner would just like call the security or something, do something. And another thing that happened to me was happening on YouTube, and that was a channel where two parents showing their child, very beautiful child. She never smiles, and it seems she's very beautiful. She never smiles. It seems to be being too aggressive with the camera. And I looked at the comment and I saw that people from all over the world were worried. Of course, I reported as well, but I also understand that welfare is not the place to deal with that. So we, the people, need to be able to do something. I'm going to show you the picture of the channel just in case you can do something. Let's see, because I took a screenshot. And this is the channel Lara Tika. You see the girl here, if you can see, she looks like she's wearing makeup and her mouth stays open the whole time. Okay. Kind of like when the models have the photo shoot and the mouth is open. So I and she his daughter. Okay, when you don't see his face, when you look, she's looking just like him. So I'm not sure what is going on. Um, and a lot of people told him, please, it's overbearing on the child. She never smiles. People thought she was autistic, but I said, okay, if a child is being bombarded with cameras in this way, and I don't blame the parents. Okay, maybe they're just like not aware. Like, God forbid, I'm not blaming anybody, but I see this is a child wearing makeup. She never smiles, and I don't think she's like autistic or anything. It's just her a normal response for when you're bombarded with cameras. And every time the camera is pointed up at her, she kind of looks down. She doesn't like it. She doesn't like the limelight. So if there's something anybody can do, that that would be great, and that would be appropriate, because we can no longer say, "Oh, we'll call the authorities." The authorities are not functioning at this time. Okay, so, and I realized, of like, what can we the people do about this? Because this is something obviously must be done, or you can't leave the child in this way. And it's a global issue, and people were writing in all languages. I was pressing the translate button. Um, and again, this is my 12th house. So I guess this is the spirit of the times to um, mention this, to talk about this. If there's something anybody can do. Um, and so there's a lot of things that arise there, because like you wanted the people who help, just like with the welfare, won't be criminals. And I don't mean criminal like they have to steal something, like they want for the child. That's all I'm talking about. And oh, Uranus. Yes, no, Uranus is still retrograde. It's that time. But this was the ingress. This was my ingress. And I think the greatest remedy for Pluto and Aquarius is when we, the people, become the leaders. This is the meaning of this ingress. We, the people, govern ourselves now. We, the people, become the leaders. This is the Sun in Aquarius in general, but this is what it is about. Okay, it's all about being. It's about being an alternative to tyranny. Um, as being there for one another, and see wherever we are in the world. Okay, people who wrote in stuff that looks like Japanese or former Chinese, and people that wrote in Russian or Ukrainian or Bulgarian. It's the same letters for me. But you see, this is a perspective for me. If you write in Ukrainian, if you write in Bulgarian, if you write in Russian, the letters, I think it's called the Kirill letters, is this. I, an Israeli reader, don't know to tell the difference. It's the same letters. If you write in Taiwanese and Chinese, I think it's the same letters too. Okay, if you write in any form of Arabic, okay, so it could be from Morocco, from Egypt, um, from Iran as well, which is surprising because you don't even write Arabic. Okay, and you could be from Palestine, you could be from Jordan, from Iraq, from Lebanon, you could be from, I think also Algeria, yes, from Saudi Arabia, Qatar, probably Oman as well. I don't know if the Yemen's write in the same letters. For me, it's the same. Just press translate on Google. Okay, so this is another perspective. Okay, if people try to understand between Israelis and Palestinians, who is fighting with who, okay, we, the people, we don't know to tell the difference. And this is an important reminder. We don't who is an Arabic, who is a Palestinian, and even if they're Palestinians, they can be Palestinians from this sort of place. So it really is ridiculous. You just need to make sure that everybody has enough. Okay, that everybody has their soil they can grow food on, clear water, clear air, safe housing to be. I was just cleaning, as Pluto was ingressing, I was cleaning the plumbing in my house. So unclogging things, and it was a wonderful journey. I need more gloves now. And funnily enough, towards the end, I became tired, so I have a bucket with the pipes in it cleaned, and I put it under the sink so that if I forget and I open the sink, or if I just feel like washing something and not bothering, there is a bucket of water underneath the sink. Okay. Now, a bucket of water is a symbol of the water bearer, which is Aquarius. So it went from unclogging and cleaning the plumbing as both Mercury and Pluto were in Capricorn to basically, and I was using a teeth brush, actually, an old teeth brush to clean that so thoroughly. Um, so going from what the heck would I do to that, and boiling so much water. But teeth is actually a Saturn symbol using a teeth brush to clean the plumbing. And now there is, a bucket of water underneath my sink. When it's still there when Pluto's in Aquarius, waiting for me to finish up. Then I would have to remember which part belongs to, like Lego. So definitely doing my plumbing myself. So yeah, and Pluto Soul. The caption is an article that was there in Pluto in Aquarius. Thinks that Saturn is in a water sign, so we can expect water discoveries, the way water is affected or impacted by gravity, but more to the minuscule, to the and what we call the atom level, because this is what atom levels and kind of like nuclear physics, of course. So that kind of revelation. Now let's just, what I do to look at the news is very simple. I open another window and see what is there. Do we have anything recent on the discover level? Yeah. Okay, why do I get Hebrew? Okay. Oh, new insights into early childhood language learning. That's actually very relevant for me. Quantum physics. I've studied linguistics and language acquisition. Quantum physics developed robust, this is 2 days ago, quantum device, so quantum advancements, nature-based solution to restore and adapt Western US forests to climate change. Okay, this is still Pluto Aquarius, climate change, adapt forests, it's very much Capricorn still. Protons. Okay, 2 days ago, I'm looking for something more recent. Okay. Not yet. Oh, wait. Rethinking personalized medicine, AI's limits in clinical trials. Okay, so that's very obvious, implementing intelligence, okay, technology. in medicine. It's not news, but and you talk about AI's limits in clinical trials. So basically, we're coming to a reality check as to the ability of AI today to diagnose disease, and so on. And we're talking about personalized medicine. So we're trying to get to the nature of the person, and that accounts for a lot of data. Okay, when you come to the ER, for example, for every symptom, there are 1,500 diagnoses. Okay, this was my thesis proposal. That was approved. Then I left. So, not because of the thesis, because of the meeting. But the thing is that there are 1,500 diagnoses for every for every symptom you come to the ER with. And so to actually give you the appropriate diagnosis and treatment for your symptoms would take either a channeler or a channeler. Okay, this is how channeling science began. This channel was channeling science. And I said, I'm going to make an experiment because everybody was using either channeling, imagination, dreams. So that's what it is. And now they're looking to try and emulate that with AI. Okay. Because they don't know, they're not supposed to talk about the knowing what's energy. But also, yes, we definitely want to make the technology accessible to people. So if one person in 100 can channel and correct and give correct treatment to the patient, then yes, we want to make that more accessible. And technology is one way to do so. We need to account for a lot of data, make a lot of computations. Computations is something that deep learning, it sounds like, that reminds me of the time when I was watching X-Files and the spy there was named Deep Throat. So there were a lot of atrocities happening on the set of the X-Files. I'm forever thankful for the screenwriters that whenever I'll see Deep Throat, I will not think about a porn film. I was thinking about the X-Files. But yes, deep learning, machine learning, okay, the network thingy that accounts for a lot more data and can do a lot more computations and get more specified with their predictions. Okay, that's the promising of this. This can allow us to bring in models from TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, and so be more accurate with our diagnosis in incorporating the sciences where people would actually channel. Okay, they will ask a lot of questions, but they would also channel. Okay, and that in the past required geniuses. Although we are in the age of Pluto, in the sign of the nervous system, we're going to have a lot of these such geniuses. A common person is just going to be more intelligent, whether they like it or not. Study from themselves. And so AI is promising for its sense to computate more so than personal works for 12 hours in the ER and doesn't get to sleep like Einstein does. And I think we could have enough personnel to change the world of AI, of medicine, so that they could see a patient, let somebody tend to them, feed them, care for them, go lie under a tree and get the freaking diagnosis, because that's how United States won the Second World War. It could have been a better solution if more people worked like Einstein, and maybe we didn't have to throw an atom. It's a question, okay? And we are at the times we can set the tone for another 7 generations. So we're opening another synodic cycle with the blessing of we the people being good to we the people. And so, where is the reality check? Well, the reality check is that AI does have its limitations. It's not a channeler. It's a great computer. It's a great computer. Um, and so, this is Saturn in Pisces, in the sign of structure of the healthcare system, but also the structure of how we think about the healthcare system. Saturn is the teacher, okay, as well, not just Jupiter. So Saturn is the traditional teacher. And if we talk about Saturn in terms of science, we're talking about the type of okay, I'm going to derive from Larry Loudon. Okay, late Larry Loudon, 1990s Larry Loudon, he's a philosopher of science and now of law, and he talked about the innovative and the conservative in science, and the role of technology is becoming very relevant for this time. And the role of technology in scientific revolutions. Okay, suddenly there is something we can observe that we weren't able to observe before. So think about it in terms of astrology. What is changes in observation? I think Gary Trubelsky, who argued with me about the importance of eclipses, while he himself gave me the argument for why they're important. I just noticed they're important and was new to this. And that is, he said, well, the eclipse is a change in the way we see things. And then he stopped there. That's everything. So a change in the way we see the world, a change in the way we see science is basically ecliptic, or ecliptic with an outer planet entering the scene. Okay. So Pluto conjunct in Sun right now is a change in the way we see the world. Every sun motion too, is changing, and the moon motion as well. But this is true. And we're opening a new cycle in the way we see the world, in the way we see science. So technology has a role to provide us more accessibility for people who don't yet channel or just wake up with a different point of view and a different analysis of things. So we use technology. And then technology can allow us to see suddenly, with Pluto, we're going to have technology that allows us to see into very, very small particles, and the power of computation. Okay, the power of computation. And computation is also for the human mind. This is why a lot of people, and I derive a lot of them deriving from Rudolf Steiner, Gigi Young, saying, yes, a lot of people will channel. They will need to see that they channel through the heart. In the beginning, they won't be, because it's like when you learn how to walk, and this is already mine. Then you just you try, you fall, you try, you fall. And it happened to me. Okay, when Saturn was in my 12th, I was trying to channel, and I got to great things, and I got to weird things. Okay, and it's up to us to develop this quality and to center in our heart and to ground ourselves. There are many, many things that can contribute. I'll probably give you a lot of teaching of what works for me, and you can try it. So you have to remember that this is not the age where we look for an academically trained person, because academia, yes, is a hierarchical structure. It's a Capricorn, Saturn Capricorn structure. And so when we're talking about the changes in the way we see the world, also changes the way we see science, okay? Letting go of the academic structure as the authority for, or institutions, the authority for our science, is not anti-intellectualism, but it is in place as more and more people just get to do science. Of course, they're going to have a lot of biases in the beginning, okay? Those big guys have other biases. They have fiscal biases as well as the scientific ones, okay? That's why when I was going for my thesis proposal, I said I want to get the naive version so that I can get to what the truth is as far as I can. And then from the naive thing, things will unravel. That was 2 years before COVID broke. I had no idea how relevant I will be to the spirit of the times. And even there, I wasn't sure, like, is it actual vaccine? Is it, what is it? Okay, what is it? I don't know. So I made an experiment myself. They had a baby there in the neighborhood. So I'm saying, okay, I'm making so many medical experiments with myself, studying aromatherapy already. Let's just take that shot. And then my menstrual cycle started to get weird. I was like, okay, that doesn't happen for me. So I naively went to my doctor, family doctor, and she said, this cannot be from the shot. And this is something that I know way from how I got the funding for the degree. And these doctors to tell you it cannot be from the pill when you have side effects, and they don't allow you to even do the experiment, the play. Okay, if we don't know if it's from the pill, let's reduce the pill. I'm here with you at the hospital. Reduce the pill, see how I feel. This is science. It's the most we can do. Reduce the pill a little, see how I feel. If I want it back, I'm here with you in the hospital. Nothing terrible is going to happen. Okay. Okay, let's try it. No, I had to get out of the hospital to do that myself. This is where not science breaks, and I want to emphasize on this, but the way that we've been doing medicine. Okay, going to this person that's going to tell us what's up with our body, no longer. So in terms of scientific revolutions, technology can allow us to observe more than we've been able to observe before. Again, I can look at the star, and I will look at the star because I've been wondering about it. I don't know if I can show you this, but I will be able to show you this. If you look at the night sky, there's a lovely app here called Stellarium. And I actually thank Rassi Atasio for encouraging us to look at the sky. And let's just zoom in a little bit farther. So it has to be one of these three. I'm not sure which one is looking at me. I think it's this one. It's called O. O, Dubhe, Mirak. I think this is Mirak. Yes, and let's, oh, it's always when I do that. Alios and Al-Qaeda. Okay, so I'm studying. First of all, I want to say thank you to Al-Qaeda for keeping me safe from all harm. And also thanks to Christopher Warnock, who made these talismans that I really love the energy. So thank you to Al-Qaeda for all the blessings, for the protection, and we protect the people, protecting from assassination, protecting from physical harm, protecting from all bad things. So thank you. And keep doing that. and then we have Mirak here. And Mirak, I think is also to do with the sciences. So you see, I have this app that allows me to go to my cell phone, which unfortunately is probably made by people who should be way more well paid, and that's something that the people can't tend to. So this is in the Galaxy A14, and I can turn to Mirak, and I can go to Google today, and this is the role of the encyclopedians. I'm going to need to learn more about this, but I've been getting the encyclopedians a lot, and I'm very willing to contribute to such projects, to preserve these projects. We go from one internet to another. I know stuff like Wikipedia or Encyclopedia Britannica and stuff like that are going to be wiped out. And so for them to be put back, okay, the Wikipedia is very much a lot of how we're going to consume our information, not just through Wikipedia, but through similarly similar networks of getting information. I'm very grateful for my professor, Danny Fielk, that was supportive of Wikipedia. He was the only one who was allowing us or telling us, you can go to Wikipedia And you can quote from Wikipedia. They give you articles, they give you things. It's the science of the people. And this was a gift at the time of Pluto Capricorn. Because I was secretly thinking about this. That like these guys are not more biased than those guys, but I couldn't. And he was saying out loud what I was thinking. So I'm very, very grateful for that. And now, as Saturn is in Pisces, we're getting a reality check for what can we do with technology today. Okay? The fact that the things that were involving the institutions failed us, and I also want to mention that the things that failed us, our governments are this or that, are simply because we are heading to a little bit of an enlightenment. Okay, and yes, enlightenment was not just light, but we are heading to the time where it's us that need to do a little bit more growing to become a little bit more free. And remember the people, and look, Chiron is in Aries while we're doing that. So Chiron is in Aries while we're doing that. That allows us to basically tend to us, and remember that not everybody is able to be as autonomous, not because they're not able to be free. Okay, the person that right now needs help with somebody cleaning their house, or having a trauma, or this person that the village was slaughtered, so he was a survivor and he was going to the Dead Sea hotels. And as it's one of the most beautiful places on earth. Okay, there's no bad word to say about it. I love this place. But if you've been having heart issues, like seeing your whole village slaughtered, okay, he was an old man to begin with. He had diabetes, which is another thing to talk about holistically, but not now. And you put that person in such a gradient range that he goes, from the Dead Sea, and the bus and the personnel's already know him in Beersheba. They already know this guy. Okay, every time he gets this pain in the heart, like he's having a heart attack, and he could be dying one of these days. Okay, so this is something. This is something to remember. Saturn, Pisces, is just that reality check. And those systems will not fail us for nothing, because it's up to we, the people. Each and every one of us now has to know that the gradient level, even if it's like a very, vacation place, between 500 meters below the sea, then 500 meters above the sea, they have to go through a rod, and then to the city, for a person that has been having blood pressure issues, is a bit of a journey, and to be doing that every day. Okay, he has to meet people, he has to work, he doesn't want to give up his life. We, the people, need to remember, people in Gaza, it's even more acute. People in Congo, it's even more acute. And you have to understand that our systems are now failing us because this is where we are at the time and age where we are building new foundations. It's we, the people. Nobody can, our governments cannot do it for us. The welfare system cannot do it for us. Even crime organization, organized crime, okay, organized, can't do it for us. Even in Italy, where, with the mafia rules, okay, you think it's more the people, it's not the police. Yes, they're still of the old structure. So it's not that they don't want, they can't do it for us. Your government can't do it for you, because there's a global organization that's infiltrating. And a lot of people, I'm saying organized crime can't do it. Well, Sheila, what happened for you? Nothing happened with me. If you need to buy a gun, okay, to protect yourself, because now they're putting the laser, and laser is not just the Israelis. Okay, I was worried about this because the patent of laser, burning metal with laser and burning everything with laser is a patent. Okay, and the first company we heard was an Israeli company that sold it to Finland to protect from missiles and planes and stuff. And I was a bit afraid. I was like, "What's my country doing with it?" But I couldn't say it. But then yesterday I ran into Britain. Okay, England. They developed a. I'm still with the Second World War. Britain. They developed exactly such patent. Okay, they grew on this patent of laser. It's the same thing. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, the patent of using laser to burn metal is a patent. So you also want to be cautious from like, oh, the Zionists, the this, the that. We're talking about bloodline segregation, eugenics, okay? And throwing wars between people and peoples so that they will fight each other, okay? I want to return you to Voltaire. And Voltaire, in his late days, said, I was a bit stupid about that. The Jews are not more terrible than the Christians or the Muslims or anybody else. And this is very true. Okay, this is all I'm asking for. We're asking for anybody to see people that as Übermensch and stuff like that. No, this is all I'm asking for. Okay, people are people. Women are not better than men are not better than women. Okay, people are people. This is all I'm asking for. Just keep that in mind. Because a lot of people would want to be throwing blame at a lot of people. Guys, it's we, the people, that need to tend to we, the people. When we do that, just like Mandela abolished apartheid, we abolished the royalties that preceded, okay? It's not like even we abolished. The people have problems with the royalty of Denmark. Not so. The people have, in Britain, people have a lot of problem with the Queen. In England, not so. Outside of England, yes, absolutely. Okay. Do people have problem with the royalty in Netherlands? Not really. It's a nice holiday. Everybody wears orange. Okay, to have the Day of the Queen. Everybody wears orange. So orange is the color of the kingdom. The color of the birthing, second sex chakra, relational chakra, creativity chakra. Okay, the ING was capitalizing on it with a big lion. It's the bank. And so, when we the people tend to read the people, as much as the royalty is concerned, they can just take a step back and relax. Okay? Because there's no room for exploitation. That being said, people who are exploited are not to blame. If we can hold both that and say, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. The only thing that makes sense is those things that do not make sense. Because to get out of exploitation, you have to hold the fact that both you are not to blame for what happened to you, and whatever point of interference that I see in the system, I exploit. Okay? If you think about hacking, I exploit that point of interference. Okay? Get out of exploitation. Not exploit the people. Exploit the point of interference where I say, okay, this is a situation. The person up there, it's only human. They're afraid of many things the common people are afraid of as well. They're afraid of being exposed. They're afraid of losing their wealth. They're afraid of losing it all. They're afraid of being put to ridicule. They're afraid of being violated. So they're just a person. And every person has their own particular things that move them. So let's see if we have more news that are recent. Do I have just news? Not today's news, just news. World news. And also the media, of course, will have to change, but that's going to be happening more with Pluto. Uranus Gemini is the first outer planet that we have. Yeah. Wait, what? U.S. stock market? Is Pakistan going to war with Iran? Iran drone. Okay, this is the drama. Okay, this is the screenplay. Those things are less relevant. What you need to know is this laser quality. That we the people dealing with people that come with lasers and burn villages, okay, and set people up against each other. It's usually children that are kidnapped. Some of them are not even registered, and you would have a child being deported, and the child either is used to it's very weird to say seduce. He's not just child seduces, is they're acting like a secret agent, but they're being tortured to do this. And you want to listen to Annika's testimonial about this. I'll try to find her. She survived such a child trafficking ring. And so they will blackmail politicians because, a lot of us were like afraid of human trafficking and stuff. But the thing is that many of us are too old for what they like. Okay, they like children, so they use children, and this is how they used to create trust in that way. They want trust in a genuinely benevolent way, genuine trust in a genuinely benevolent way, not on the account of children, of course. And so have trust among us is genuine, and that's what made the citizens of Finland happy. We can do it. Okay, if they want to destroy Finland, the entire world would be as happy as the Finns worried more. So that is something to say. And then another thing they would use these children for, other than entertainment and influence, they become better singers and stuff like that. And Anke was trained to be a singer. So the other thing would be, of course, to fight. Okay? And this is how we get to see children raiding, children raping, children this, children that. Who does that? It's basically those rings, and then we'll sit and so this is hoti, so this is icy, so this is this, so this is that, and they're marketed as freedom fighters, which is so sad and so abusive, because these children, let's say you're a gay person in Palestine, you're being extorted. You're gonna do this or this or this or this, or we're gonna tell you that you're gay. By whom? It's global, because of course, if you want the person to, let's say, serve in Palestine and slaughter some Jews, or slaughter some Palestinian people, but that had no money to leave Palestine when they were conquered, so of course they're traitors. Yes, absolutely not. But if you want the person to function in Palestine, you can take them from Africa, you can take them from Europe, mingle, and then you say, oh, they go through brainwashing. Some of them just go through torture and extortion, and then they will serve in this place. Okay, they take a Palestinian person, the Palestinian kid, they will serve in another place. Okay, so it's a global child trafficking. You see, with the welfare, the issue is global. Okay, it's not your government. In many cases, your government officials, when a person graduates university, goes to, and I studied politics and governance in Israel. one of those departments they thought to close because they were two lefties. So, BGU. What happened to the BGU? So, yeah, me too. So the thing is, so now you know the reveal of my university. So the thing is that you go, you finish, you graduate from university. Okay? You have to do apprenticeship, you do it in the parliament. One of the things I was against is the structure of academia, because if you're supposed to do democracy, you cannot graduate from a hierarchical institution, a patronized and patronship institution. Okay, there's no problem is that if you like that kind of kink, most of us don't know what we get to when we go there. We're just like, I want to be educated, I want to study, I want to dedicate my life to studies. Okay, fine. That's how we end up there. We're a little stupid. It's okay. Or we didn't find, and we were not mavericks to find a way of life. But the thing is that the structure is of the structure of the church. Okay, and now that's good for church. And then you try to lead a country, you go to the parliament, and lo and behold, okay, our department is actually good at getting people to be activists. For which I could capitalize on me too. But the thing is that you don't get to experience democracy unless you studied in a democratic school, and you probably hate what they do in academia. You don't get your training in a democratic setting. How can you suddenly become democratic? Everything was through patronship. So when a patron comes to fund you, and you're a parliament person, it seems natural to you. You know that this is corruption, but you also kind of like, but wait, to graduate, to get here, I had to, okay? And the stuff already begins like, all the institutions. So the thing is that all of those structures that are belonging, we need to identify what is the Capricorn structure, because everything that is a Capricorn structure is just no longer serving now, okay? No judgment, no resentment. Our government didn't betray us, okay? We are ushered to the age of where the power is to we the people, and we need to learn, we need to be good with we the people, okay? This is the essence of this. The rest of this is the way that those guys deal with that. How will people be democratic? How will people choose for themselves? How will people know what? And some of these concerns are actual concerns, okay? You see a child in the street, abandoned. In the past, what do you do? I call the authority. Okay, good morning. You've just trafficked the child. You've been an agent in recruiting a child to pedophile ring. Because within the system, those rings operate. And they serve the eugenics. Okay? The bloodline segregation. So now the power is with the people. If you see the child, so what are you going to do? I don't have an answer. I just went into this on YouTube. I showed you the picture of the child. Okay? We need to find alternative solutions to that, so that these children are, we need to tend to that. Because now our governments can no longer do that. The structures, the police is not equipped enough. The army has infiltrators. The funds that choose the upper echelons of the army, okay, are being externally funded. We don't even know by whom. This is Capricorn corruption. But what is underneath is that we, the people, need to be good to we, the people, and rebuild. Okay? So it's not about that crisis there is happening for we, the people, to emerge. In many other cases, in other cases, like we don't know, we don't really know what to do. Okay, so we have to reinvent the wheel and be inclusive of those who are with PTSD, who are neurodivergent, and all the things. It took decades upon decades for people to even understand that they exist. Okay, like energy. So yes. So what you see here is governments, this states, this is the drama, okay? This is like a puppet show. Unfortunately, right now, most of the states are a puppet show. But this is not what's actually going on. What we're dealing with is people with laser or planes with laser that, for some godforsaken reason, tried to get over real estate. And it's true that our rights are being taken by people with names and addresses. This is very true. Thanks Illuminati on Twitter for that. So shout out to Illuminati. Okay, we got a lot of news, but I want you to see what actual news are. 7 hours. Can international justice stop Israel? Well, it depends who funds the international justice. Okay, who funds this, guys? And apparently they only have a mandate when it's a genocide and not when it's like mass slaughtering of people. Like they can kill, like you have to prove that something is intentional genocide. You accidentally kill 6 million people in Congo. It's like, this is a war. You don't intend to kill them. Okay? And it's not a genocide. You have to prove intention to commit genocide. And only then they can interfere. I didn't know that. Okay, until this case. So just so that the people know. So we have some wars, more of the puppet show. Sudan war crimes. I was thinking about Sudan. Oh, yes. A lot of people come from a lot of cultures where they have what we call domestic violence. And so it will be up to we, the people, to change that. Okay, there will not be like authorities to tell me to do it. We, the people, have to know better. And that is something we're dealing with. We're dealing also with the karma of the tribes, okay? One very authentic person who was indigenous American, I don't know what, I don't remember what tribe, okay? So he said that during the American settlers, yes, they were very violent, but also the tribe people, they were very violent, both between one another, and they were raping, and they were slaughtering, and they were cannibalizing on people, as well as on the settlers, because that was like they both committed a tremendous atrocities towards one another. And he was like being very pragmatic. It's like, hey, we need to just cut that and just leave. Like, where in the world do people? That was his perspective. But I was thinking about what's happening in the world, and this is something that the people need to know about, because people are going to try to turn to the clan, to the tribe, to the pre-state thingy. Okay, it's still a hierarchical structure. Okay, and it's bloodline segregation that degenerates us medically. And I talked about it in my previous episodes. And so we need to understand in terms, probably every shaman would tell you that, when we treat the soil well and we have clear water, is also when we treat the parts in society that are of this element, and this is women, mothers, and children. Traditionally, now, mother can have a penis and father can have a womb, okay? But it just means that we treat the people well, okay? And so when we don't rape, when the word, sexual boundary violation, when the concept of that is not even a thing, not in peace, not in war times, not at home, not in one society, okay, we won't get that from the outside. Make sure everybody has housing, okay? We don't do bloodline segregation. So there's no reason to fight our people. And when we have willing consent, we don't explode with our population. We have the tools, okay, to tend to that also naturally. But the thing is that willing consent is allowing us to be present with the nervous system of the cosmos and be a co-creational. Okay, we have points of interference. They're ourselves, they're our lives, that lead our lives. And we are part of something at the same time. So when we practice that, our nervous system begins to heal, because the nervous system is not an autonomic, it is an autonomic place, but it's also an interconnected place. Okay, I woke up from a dream to the Pluto ingress. Okay, my nervous system is currently in tune with the cosmic planetary system. This is why I wake up in the middle of the night and Pluto has just ingressed into Aquarius, and I broadcast about this. Okay, how does this happen? I did not have a clock. I don't have anything. Okay, I have a nervous system, I have a body, I have a womb. Okay, and that's how. And I wake up, I'm between Al-Qaeda, defender from assassination, and many other things, and Mirak, which is blessed, I think, also in studies and eloquence and the arts, but I need to check this. And they are both shining. This is what I wake up to. I think we're beginning to see, wait a second with the news. I will go to that again. But I think we are Procyon! Yes, it's you! No, I did it again. This is it. This is Procyon. And I think right in front of me is Alphard, which I don't know. I don't know Alphard. I'll need to look. But this is Procyon. So, good morning, Alphard, which I still don't know, and I will need to get to know you more if you allow me to. And good morning, Procyon, which I don't see because it's behind the building. So Procyon is about actually being granted favor from officials and kings, but also, as I was talking about this, the Procyon was rising, and Procyon is about what we need to do to abolish oppression. Okay, it's a great defender, sweetening of the verdict, because many times we mistreat ourselves, and we are both not to blame for that, and it's both a point of interference to repent and learn to love ourselves better as individuals, as society, as tribes, whichever construct you're in. Procyon is helpful. So Procyon is actually on the midheaven of the state configuration that I reside in. It's the configuration of the State of Israel. It's the denuclearificator. It's also on the son of Nelson Mandela, who managed to abolish apartheid. He was an eclipsed child through abolishing bloodline segregation. And I'm talking about it's just as Procyon rises, and I didn't even see it. Good morning, Procyon. Very, very grateful for your wisdom, for your insight, for your protection, for sending in the right people. How the people, because the moon, tropical Cancer, is ruled by the people, and sending in the right people that inspire, being fortunate, being wealthy, growing, being free, basically. So it's liberator of the people by us looking within and abolishing things by doing something different. Okay, marrying a woman from another tribe, standing up to the king with respect, but speaking as we the people, and allowing ourselves to do something better for ourselves and live better lives, eventually free of oppression. This is eventually what Procyon can give us. Okay, Another person that had important planets with Procyon was JFK, and he denucleared the Cold War, okay, in 1963, and would later be the person who would say, I am a donut, well, the fall of the wall in Berlin, and he was a Gemini. So communication, established 1963. 1962 was the Cuban Missile Crisis. I'm very thankful. Um, I think I studied about this in the International Relation course by Professor Avi Segal. Very, very, very inspiring person that was, I can't say clearly not of the cults because I don't know. But yes, gave us a lot of very important information. Presby. Who is Presby? What do we have here? Yeah, who are Alphard and I'll go a little bit north. Regulus. So we got Regulus. Yeah, we got Regulus. Yeah. Regulus in Virgo. Royal star. In the sign of the common people. The common, it's basically, Virgos, they're very smart, they're very witty, they're very curious. They keep their head in the books, and they know the tricks, and they're informed, and they love what they do. Okay, it's about Virgo. Virgos love what they do. They get to shine when Regulus is in Virgo. So Regulus is about loving what you do and getting to shine at what you do. Okay, it's effortless dedication. This is the secret of Virgo, guys. If you try to work like a Virgo, you can never match it, because they love what they do, and they have this great dedication. So you spend hours and hours doing what you love doing, and that's the power of Regulus in Virgo. Okay, shining, loving what you do, and being appreciated for it. Wealthy, why not? Of course, it's still the lion, the heart of the lion. It's still benevolence. I don't know if it's the heart of the lion, of the Virgo, but it's still about benevolence, and using that in genuine benevolence. Okay, not colonialist benevolence, genuine benevolence. It's not about extortion. And who is Alf? Because I got to know a new guy today. Alphard. Let's look for who is Alphard. This is how I do, so you can study astrology live with me now. There's more war. Gaza risks lost generation of children, says UN officials. The entire world risks that. The entire world risks that. And we need to look to this topic of children more. So, India, Pakistan. Okay, so the German banned the AfD. Okay, so they banned them. Far right party. Argentina. Congo, flood response. So there's a flood in Congo. There's also a war in Congo, 6 million dead. I'm not joking, 6 million dead. Tourism bounces back. Alert over Sudan's ancients. Okay, so there's also a flood now. Oh my God, somebody threw a cat off the train into the snow in Russia. Don't. Maybe they thought the cat would not survive anyway. Like, I really don't know what's up. Like, where were they traveling to? But now, Alphard. It's how you check at the night skies astrology. Astrology is also a lovely way to study cosmology, because it gives you a story to remember. Okay, oh, that's associated. It becomes like a nervous system. And you wake up with them, and then you go to sleep with them. And when you learn, you look at the sky like, who's this? Who's that? The stories like makes it easy. Stories always made things easier to remember. And yes, you do find other patterns, but it's up to you if you want to look for them. You know. So, oh, no way. Oh, fixed star Alphard. So this is Astrology King. Looking at the skies. Okay, it's this is Hydra constellation. Hydra is the snake of healing and the Kundalini snake. And the single star in the neck of the water snake Hydra. Magnitude 2, spectral type K3, 2 to 3. Okay, spectral type. This spectral signature of things is very important. Like I said, we're dealing with people with lasers. So spectral signature, you must have heard like about the blue. I saw somebody who painted her chickens blue. Okay, it's not about abusing the chickens so that they will survive like the laser beams. Just and true and blue is a color of communication. This case, throat chakra. Is associated with Saturn, but we also use blue for blue crystals for Mercury retrograde. Um, when we want to improve upon communication, clarity, truth. It's the color of truth. People who have what people call psychosis, I don't believe there is such a thing today. Okay, and again, but I definitely have been around people who were diagnosed with that. Okay, so um, so I saw a person that was diagnosed with that, and the pills didn't help him. Of course, they didn't. And he was using meditation where he would envision blue, he said blue light coming and surrounding me, and he allowed the blue light to clarify him, to cleanse him. And funny enough, the spectral signature of blue is defending from laser now. I find this to be strange. I don't know why. Okay, like I don't know the technology good enough, but this is very interesting. So the color blue, okay, you can work with the color blue. It's color of truth. Traditional name Alfard from Al-Fard al-Shuja. Shuja, Arabic for the solitary one in the snake. Ooh. This is because Alfard is the only bright star in the empty-looking region below Leo constellation. It's also been called Core Hydra, the heart of the snake. Yes, snakes have hearts too. Alfard astrology. Orange star at the neck of Hydra. Alfard al-Shuja, the solitary one, or in the serpent. Ptolemy states that it is of the nature of Saturn and Venus. But according to Alviras, it's similar to the Sun and Jupiter in its sextile. It gives wisdom, musical, and artistic appreciation. This is why I've been so musical. Venus was on my midheaven. So thanks, Alfard, for shining your light on me today in my sixth house. Voice, expression, music, healing, absolutely. So needed. This is just by being exposed to the star rays. Okay, Venus is on midheaven, so everything I do has a rhythm to it. According to, yes, it gives wisdom, musical, artistic appreciation, knowledge of human nature. Ooh, you're there, everybody's human? Yeah. Also, strong passions, lack of self-control, immorality, revolting deeds, and sudden death by drowning, poisoning, or asphyxiation. So if you save me from the latter, that would be great. If there's something that you'd like me to do, there's moral, of course, then this video perhaps. Anonymous 379 AD stated that Alphard is like Saturn and Venus. Spectral class K3. This star imparts to its natives wisdom, knowledge, good appreciation of the arts, and knowledge of human nature, and negatively it gives natives troubles, anxiety, losses, intemperance, revolting deeds, turbulence, strong passions, lack of self-control, suffering, and self-destruction. The star, when in conjunction with the nativity, and the nativity is also in conjunction with Regulus, dilutes the influence of Regulus to a large degree. Yes, in Arabic, al-Fard, the one stands alone. So, disadvantage in most cases, especially with poisons, accentuated badly, blood poisoning, murder by poison, attempts of poisoning. And so we have Al-Qaeda there to protect us from that. Or maybe itself it can be protected, I don't know. In magic. Danger to life by the wrong use of drugs and overindulgence in good living. Smoke inhalation, danger of suffocation, snake bites, bite by poison, insect bites, bites from dogs and rabbis. Rabbis, not rabbis, not okay, rabbis. Rabbis, not rabbis. Fine. The danger is marked if the Sun, Moon, Mars, Neptune, Ascendant, or MC are linked with this star. Currently none of them, fortunately. Poisoning is also possible in a relationship between a man and a woman in marriage. Yes, men who used to abuse women, the women used to poison them. Yes, don't make us go back to poisoning the husband. Respect women, live and let live. And you will have way better sex than you even think you could have. The power of willing consent. This is especially true in male chart. Like I said, men were poisoned when they mistreated women. So because the marriage was not willingly consensual, okay, right now that the problem sometimes is reversed because to make sure that the father will not abandon the child because it's in this economy, okay, and people make all kinds of opinions about poor penises, what they go through. It's because of my penis, it's because I want to spread my seed, it's because of this, it's because of that. It's because you're shit fuck scared to lose everything, and in this economy you're too enslaved and you don't get to have the freedom, so you try to express it in different ways. So, and tribal society is no source for alternative because they were slaughtering each other too. It's kind of like a mini state. Reality check on that. Saturn, Pisces. But the thing is that men are often afraid to lose everything, and they commit suicide successfully, more so than women statistically. That's what we know, and especially around divorces. So it's becoming a life or death issue, and this is not good also for the women because they're being married. Good. Okay. If a man really walks out and they are walking to the street, just like if a woman walks out of violence, she walks to the street, then we're in a problem. Or we make the street safe and hospitable. So that is the truth. And in the time where marriage were arranged and coerced, then women didn't want to, yes, but also the men, they were suffering from that too. And so not willing consent, and the only way for a woman to gain her willing consent was to poison the man. So now we don't want to do that. We want to do better things. This requires housing, this requires space, this requires culture as well. So yeah, those are interrelated. On the material plane, nearly always unhelpful, although if the native is able to conceive it in the spiritual sphere, the Saturn-Neptune combination may give enlightenment. gives the ability to grow and rise to high places with always that Saturnian note of precaution that we must be clear about. Much we know in the objective truth about the matter, and that we endanger ourselves by letting little knowledge and power to go to our heads. Now, if you've been wondering, what about power relations? Okay, when one person is very rich, the other one is very poor. That person that is very rich is by bloodline segregation, and so basically the bloodline is more degenerated because they don't practice biodiversity so much. Okay, so they don't have the resources to be able to love. Okay, to just learn, and that's what makes them, unfortunately, so malefic. It's not their fault. Okay, but it's also what happens. Okay, we don't have the resources between your energy, your bloodline, because you try to purify it and keep, the power within, and it's not, it's not. That was the reason back then. Okay, that was the reasoning. But we know that now, for improved immune system, improved nervous system, we are exposed to diversity, and that allows us to be more flexible, and to also have a place where we can, it is fixed, but be exposed to diversity. That is a good balance between autonomy and connection, and that is important for the nervous system, for our gut, Virgo Pisces, for our overall well-being. Okay. So yes, this is why a person who is higher up the echelon would be abusive, is because they're degenerated. Okay, it's not their fault, but there's a lot of duties that come with all the money. Okay, there's certain people they can't see, there's certain people who can see, there's certain things they have to be a part of, certain things they have to be silent about, and so on and so forth, just like an oppressed person. So, okay, they have opulence okay, they have a certain type of like seemingly opulence, but they lack certain freedoms. And they also don't understand our freedom of movement. Yes, they can travel by boat, travel by plane, but the thing is that they always need like security around them, and they need to pay an army and be worried about infiltrators, like all these kind of stuff that yeah, you'd rather have the money, that's of course, but the thing is that there are many like restrictions and lack of exposure to the common wisdom. Okay, so that can leave a person, if a king try to go and take a walk in the city and just get along without security, without anything, even if they didn't recognize the king, that this is the king, he would have a problem. He doesn't know how to take a bus. He doesn't know how to pay in the grocery store. They can run bills of billions, but not this. He doesn't know how to communicate with the people, with the commoners. You just don't have any skills whatsoever when it comes to day-to-day life. They would need a social worker to get by. I'm not joking. So that is something to think about. Hydra gives emotional and passionate nature, threatened by great troubles, and to cause some interest in shipping. So we got all these things conjuncting Alphard. Right now, nothing conjuncts Alphard, but it's rising in the sky. So we honor the wisdom of Alphard and pray Alphard to keep us from those natures that are not so in our favor. So yes, that's how we do it. If we go back to, now you hear the wild dogs. This is what I was talking about. This is the wild dogs. They're waking up. So I hope I wasn't waking the neighbors up too much. Oh, midheaven on speaker. So the midheaven is on speaker, and this is a good time to ask for being victorious and virtuous. And remember the word win-win, because speaker is talented at win-wins. Successful in business and in expressing ourselves, eloquence. Well, thanks to the blessings of Spica. This is Jupiter hour. And I'm going to release this episode now. So thank you for being with me.